Bartolo Colon was one of the most beloved baseball players of the 2010s. His mix of longevity and fun play drew people to him. This catch, the helmet flying around, throwing 38 consecutive strikes in a game. Do I need to mention the home run? But if I really had to simplify what made Bartolo so relatable, I'll dumb it down to it being that he was old and he was overweight. Bartolo relished in both of these things. I swear it's not an insult. Honestly, it's a lot like Scoober. Go on Twitter and search up Scoober. Everyone loves this little guy. He's a dog built like a bowling ball, and his very existence makes people think he's adorable. That's the vibe people had with Bartolo Colon once he turned 40. But, as a scout from Moneyball, whose name I only just learned, pointed out, everyone stops playing baseball someday. The great ones in every sport do wind up having to call it quits at some point. No one's immune to it. Even Messi will die in Warzone 2 someday. Don't ask who called in the airstrike on him afterwards. Point is, it ends for everyone. Bartolo Colon was one of the few people who had a last hurrah. There is one final amazing Bartolo Colon event that, confusingly, doesn't get any recognition. It's one of the most impressive things he ever did, and it's only gotten more impressive with time. It came from his final season, not long before his 45th birthday, and you need to know all about it. But first, we gotta cover our bases. You'll appreciate it all the more with some background on his long and eventful career. And if you enjoy the ride, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Colon's final season, briefly touched on earlier, was in 2018. His first season was in 1997. His first full big league season was in 1998, where he'd make his first All-Star Game appearance. It's crazy to me how the game in which the last hurrah will take place happened during prime Fortnite, and his career started before I was even born. He worked his way up to being the ace of the Cleveland Indians and one of the American League's best pitchers around the turn of the century. After 2 brief pit stops in Montreal and the south side of Chicago, Colon signed with the Angels in free agency before 2004. In 2005, he won the Cy Young Award for them, which at that time did not contain a misspelling of the word valuable on the trophy. Colon was proving that he had talent. That's something he'd possessed his whole career. That's something he even tried to show at Mets Old Timers Day in 2022. But things changed when he made a start in the do-or-die Game 5 of the 2005 American League Division Series against the Yankees. Colon tore his rotator cuff and left the game after 1 inning. While the Angels went on to win the game, Colon's career took a hit for the next 5 years. Already 32 years old at the time of the injury, he had 2006, 2007, 2008, and 2009 seasons that were remnants of his former self. 2010 was spent completely out of baseball as he recovered from major shoulder troubles. But then, after balling out in the Dominican Winter League, Colon earned a chance from the New York Yankees in 2011. For the first time since that 2005 season, he pitched 160 innings of, at the very least, serviceable baseball. His career was back on track. He'd spent 2012 and 2013 on 1-year deals for the Oakland A's, pitching really well for them, even earning an All-Star appearance again at age 40. That was after his performance-enhancing drug suspension in Oakland too, so I have the hunch his All-Star season was clean. Things would go into orbit for Colon with his next team though. Before 2014, Colon signed a multi-year contract to join the New York Mets. The Mets were where his lovable image completely exploded though. I mean, he didn't get the nickname Big Sexy for no reason. This popularity surge happened from a very simple cause. Being in the National League before the universal DH, he'd have to start hitting. A lot. And in the social media era, everyone would get to see it. Let me just show you Colon's brand of normal-looking guy being a goofball in baseball that peaked when he was a Met.
Weig lines it back to the mound, speared by Colon.
Just 2 hits. Colon rips one. It's a base hit, Colon. Let's watch him run around first. He's going to take his time and jog on in there. Bartolo Colon with his first base hit of the year.
Needs more. Colon fouls off the bunt, strike 3. There's the second strikeout for him. And he saved the ball as a souvenir.
Has been in the American League some. Yeah, you're supposed to drop the bat sooner.
And Colon drives one to center field. That's a base hit, and it gets by Suzuki and rolls all the way to the wall. ball game. He wants to get it.
There, ball.
Behind the back flip, and he got him! Oh, wow! It's so easy for Colon right now. This man will live forever.
Baseball loved Mets Bartolo, and he gave all that love right back. He still reps Mets gear and jump rope videos to this day. You want to know just how much love and happiness Colon's time with the Mets generated? Listen to how they welcomed him back for his return to New York after leaving.
That brings one of the most exciting moments in any game to the forefront as Colon comes to the plate.
2017 was the first season Colon had spent away from New York since 2013, and it was the worst season of his career in at least a decade. Maybe ever. At 44 years old, definitely bad enough to bury his career and kill any possibility of him getting an MLB roster spot again. But the Texas Rangers came calling for 2018, and Colon's final season would commence. Colon would put up a below average season for the 2018 Rangers, but he would have his final moment in the sun with them. Or should I say under the lights. His fourth game as a Ranger would come on national TV, Sunday Night Baseball in Houston against the in-state rival Astros. Just his second start of the season too. Hey guys, so I'm online at a drive-thru right now, but I did just want to come on really quick and say that, you know that era of Astros history where they're using an illegal sign-stealing technique involving a trash can telling all their hitters what pitch was coming before it even came? Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of all that funny business right now at this time in history, and Bartolo has to go and, defeat that. Alright, so here's the result of every single at-bat against Colon in this game. George Springer ground out, Alex Bregman strikeout, Jose Altuve strikeout, Carlos Correa ground out, Josh Reddick ground out, to second baseman / Margot Robbie's boyfriend Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, his first appearance in all this. Yuli Gurriel groundout, Marwin Gonzalez strikeout, Brian McCann flyout, Derek Fisher strikeout, George Springer groundout, Alex Bregman flyout, Jose Altuve strikeout, Carlos Correa strikeout, Josh Reddick flyout, Yuli Gurriel groundout, Marwin Gonzalez groundout, Brian McCann groundout, Derek Fisher strikeout, George Springer groundout, Alex Bregman groundout, Jose Altuve lineout. I don't know if you've picked up on this, but Bartolo Colon, at 44 years, 10 months, and 23 days old, has just taken a perfect game into the 8th inning. So, I'm playing Naughty Bear right now. I just want to make sure you understand that Bartolo Colon taking a perfect game into the 8th inning, not letting any Astros to reach base, let alone get a hit, is unbelievable, and it's especially more unbelievable when they probably weren't playing by the rules all the way, per se, down there in Houston. And not only that, it is April 15th, 2018. His career started in a time where we were experimenting with making baseball cards look like business cards. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. Oh my god, it even has multiple watermarks. The Astros were a machine. They still are to this day, even without trash cans. Everybody and their cousin knows that the Astros hitting is dangerous. And I know about dangerous hitting. I was at D-Sarm's Home Run Derby event down in Florida recently, hoping none of the lefty hitters would break a windshield in oncoming traffic. We were only just entering the Astros era of dominance. We were only just seeing guys like Carlos Correa and Alex Bregman in particular enter their primes. George Springer had some of his best baseball left to play too. A man who had been walking this earth for 16,398 days went in and stuffed all of them. Bartolo Colon was working on his magnum opus, a perfect game as a nearly 45-year-old man. And I don't care that the Rangers were accused of sign stealing too, doesn't matter for the pitcher in this scenario. At age 40, Randy Johnson is the oldest pitcher to pitch a perfect game. Colon's pushing 45. And doing this against one of the best offensive juggernauts in baseball history. And it was earned. Look at some of the movement on these pitches. This is filthy. Even getting this far is unreal, in every aspect of saying that. And the whole world gets to see it on national television. And at just 82 pitches, it's definitely manageable to go the distance here. Especially for a pitcher like Colon, who throws strikes and lives off soft contact.
Let's play some more baseball, shall we?
Carlos Correa comes to the plate to lead off the bottom of the 8th. At this time, he was only associated with the Astros and no one else. Colon misses badly for ball 1. Colon then paints strike 1. Ball 2 is a sinker in the dirt, up and in for ball 3, and ball 4. Correa walks, Perfect game over. Just like that, it was gone. One batter later, Josh Reddick doubled to right field, taking the no-hitter away too. One batter after that, Yuli Gurriel hit a sacrifice fly to center field. In a span of 3 hitters, Colon went from losing a perfect game to losing a no-hitter to maybe not even getting a win anymore. He'd get Marwin Gonzalez out on his final pitch of the day before the Rangers pulled him from the game. The craziest part of all this to me is how quickly the magic went undone. For 7 innings, Colon was having his ultimate game. The highest of highs, defying all aging logic and carving up one of the best offenses in baseball history. And just like that, it was gone. The Rangers would win this game in extra innings. Robinson Chirinos hit a 2-run double in the 10th inning to give them the lead again. IKF dropped down a beautiful bunt right after. Colon would never pitch a game like this ever again. His time with the 2018 Rangers was the last stretch he'd have in the big leagues. This truly was the last great moment he'd have in Major League Baseball. All the goofy highlights and iconic clips from his career, this was the last significant event. And it only got more impressive with time. Colon hits the Hall of Fame ballot in 2024. It's already been that long since he hung up his spikes for the last time. When his longevity starts to get talked about again, try not to forget about what he did on April 15th, 2018 as the icing on the cake.